Hi, and welcome to Strap a Watch. I'm Michael Knapp Leather. I've got a pretty special show for you guys today, and you're going to be seeing me hand make this item. I've never made anything like this before, and frankly, I don't know if there's another one like it anywhere in the world. And it's a pocket watch wallet, all right? It's turned out really cool. Now, typically, when I showcase something on my show, you'll hear me say, it turned out absolutely gorgeous. Well, I'm not gonna say that on this item. It's pretty, it's very pretty, it's functional, and it's super cool. So this is for a 115-year-old gold Elgin Pocket Watch in the hunter's case. That's where it flips open. So really cool watch. And the gentleman who owns this is from Jim. Jim has actually been on the show. Jim is an old friend. He's actually a diehard subscriber, but he was a customer of mine even really before Strap a Watch got started. He had ordered passport wallets and minimalist wallets and stuff like that in the past. And he was on the show when I made a strap for his Zinn 104. So here's a take a look at that. And I had also made him a strap on the show for his Apple Watch. But honestly, a couple disclosure statements. It's not totally up to my fine leather crafting standards. There's definitely flaws in it. It's okay. It's a craft. You know, this is a piece of art. It's not, factory made. But he had this idea. So after he got it back from being repaired, he mailed it to me in a box with this mock-up in cardboard. So this was his idea, and I did everything I could to try to kind of keep it like this. He's not a chain guy. He didn't want it attached to a chain and loosely in his pocket. He wanted it to be more protected and secure, and this way, yeah, you can just slip it in and out of your pocket. So do not ask me to make you one. I'm not going to make another one. I'm just not. I'm so busy with watch straps. I don't know if I'll ever end up slowing down. Ocean O'Malley, third plug on his show he gave me. Oh my gosh, brother, you're killing me. No, I love you for it, man. He's been such a great guy for me, and I emailed him, I think last week, about maybe monetizing my site, because I'm at that point. I don't really want to, and I asked him, does that help you with, your channel growing any faster, because then they're getting paid too, YouTube would be. And he said, I don't know, but if you don't have to, why do it? And I don't really have to. So I've decided, at least for now, I'm not going to monetize the site. Maybe if I have 10,000s of subscribers someday and you can actually make money doing that, I will. But for right now, I don't want you guys to get bothered with all those commercials and stuff, because I hate them too. So again, on today's show, you're going to see me hand make this. We're going to go into Elgin watches a little bit, and the history. Really great story. I think you'll be really interested. Stick around. After the intro, we'll get right into it. Thank you so much for joining me today on Strap a Watch. If you're hearing some popping sounds in the background, that is rain hitting the metal roof. I do apologize. I'm recording this while it is raining outside. And here is, you can see this about a 1/4 inch thick piece of double shoulder. It's about a 14 ounce double shoulder piece of vegetable tan leather that I used to use for my placemat orders. And after applying all the various products, from the dyes and the Resolene, the protectant for, it's an acrylic protectant, it would actually shrink the leather down by about 1/3. And here again is Jim's watch. This used to belong to Jim's great uncle, and I guess he had bought it right around the 1905 time frame, and had it in the family this entire time. Jim had just gotten it back from being repaired. So the gentleman he sent it to was Mr. Terry Nelson out in Oregon. And I have a number of people who have asked me if I know of a reputable, restoration, watch restore, repair person, a watchmaker, and I really didn't have anybody. And I trust Jim so much, I would highly recommend this guy as well now. Here you can see, because what I'm doing is I'm using this thick piece of leather as kind of, think of it as the skeleton shell to house the watch in. So when Jim gave me that cardboard mock-up of his idea, this was the first thing that I could think of. And it worked out. And, another thing I talked about is how it's not absolutely gorgeous. It's pretty, it's functional. Well, part of the reason is I had never made anything like this. Now, if I had an opportunity to make a few more, I would get a system down and I would be able to make them absolutely gorgeous. But I made this on the fly, and there's a lot of different steps that you have to follow in leather crafting, and you have to plan everything out, really think ahead, because if you miss something, a step, you can't just go back. You'd have to either start over or tear it all up. And here you're seeing me applying some water to the backside of this calfskin. This is what I use for some of the lining on my watch straps, and it's a great lining for watch straps. It's a very high-end calf, and if I were to put water on this side right here, the skin side, it would just bead and run right off. So that's why it's so great. It's pretty sweat resistant, and just a great lining for leather straps. I'm getting ready to show you guys something very, very special, and it's from some footage of a video that was acquired by Mr. Ben Modell. He's a accompanist, a piano player, a historian. Thank you so much, Ben, for granting me permission. This is the actual Elgin factory back in 1931. Now, we don't know much about the video, Ben. It's from 1931. They had found this footage on a 16-millimeter reel of film in Canada. So here it is. You're seeing, work being done. It's really cool. And Ben had put together a video. I think it's about 23 minutes. And so I'm leaving a link to that. This is the observatory. This is how they used to get accurate time before there were atomic clocks. That's a star going across there, and the guy would click a button, boom, 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 and it would register the time, and he would put that into the chronometers that would then go into the factory. So all of the watches that were going out to the consumers were then timed to that within a hundredths of a second back in the day. So this was really very ahead of its time. I fell in love with this whole story, and once again, Ben, thank you so much for giving me the permission. When I contacted him via email, he said, oh, wow, this is like 180 degrees from the norm where somebody's actually asking for permission, because a lot of times he says it's pretty sad, but people just steal his content without asking and then put it on YouTube or wherever, and it's, but I fell in love with it so much, this whole story, and about the Elgin Watch Company, and here is the famous watchtower that they had up for decades and decades, and here it is, I believe 1964, when they tore it down and they demolished that factory. I mean, it's kind of a heartbreaker, really. As a business owner, and I even said it before on a pretty recent episode, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I've started up several companies in my lifetime, and I own, as most of you know, a hearing healthcare clinic here in Orange Park, Florida. I'm a practicing audio prosthologist, and, but I've owned some other companies, and the startup phase is so fun, but it's so challenging and so much work and thought and effort. And the whole startup phase for Elgin Watch Company back in the 1860s, it's an amazing, amazing story. Like I said, do your own research. And if you're into watches at all, this is a story you got to learn about. And it's also a story as an educational piece for people who are in business about what can happen. Why, I have yet to find out the actual real demise of the company. There's not much to be said about it other than loss of earnings, of course. So really, when it boils down to like a startup of any business, it's usually one person's idea or a small group of people, maybe 2-3 people. And, brainstorming everything out and, getting the capital to be able to start a business and all that. And also the growth of a business takes a tremendous amount of leadership and foresight. But also then, too, on the flip side is, the demise of a company. And usually it's trickle down. It's just poor decision making. Sometimes there's outside influences. Yes, economies crash and, what have you. But, with these guys, I don't really know, other than what my own thinking would be is competition, not keeping up with, modernization and techniques of, mass production, branding. You think of Elgin now and then Rolex. Elgin was out way before Rolex was out. And, Seiko, even these guys could have been the Seiko. They didn't have the foresight to think about what would happen with the quartz craze because they went out of business in 1968. Here you're seeing me use my Dremel in a drill press. This is what I actually used to do with real thick pieces of leather when making knife sheaths or also gun holsters. This was exactly what I would do in certain instances. Not much, but this piece of leather is so thick I couldn't get a pricking iron through it. There's just no way. So this is why I had to use my little drill press setup there. But, again, just getting back to thinking about business and this Elgin company, it really does. It kind of breaks my heart because you got to think in World War II, 1940s, they had to switch for war production effort and making altimeters and all kinds of different stuff for the war effort. And here you go 20 years later and they're out of business, so something definitely had to happen internally. And they had tried starting up some other more modern factories in other cities, one in Lincoln, Nebraska, one in which became Elgin. They even renamed this town in South Carolina to Elgin. Elgin, Illinois, where Elgin, the National Watch Company, they named it after the watch company. It used to be the National Watch Company back in the 1800s. I think by the early 1880s, people were known to be saying, well, I want that watch from Elgin, the Elgin watch. It wasn't from the National Watch Company. I want that Elgin. So they renamed it to Elgin. Just because of that, and it's from the city, the name of the city. So, and you can see what I did here with the Shell Cordovan. Is that pretty cool or what? I've always wanted to do something like this. And just all disclosure, this is a gift for Jim. When he first reached out to me back in May of this year, so 4 months ago now, with the idea, and then he had sent it off for repair. I told him, I said, yeah, I'll put you in the queue. As soon as you get it back, I'll get it done for you. So, I as busy as I am, and that's why I even said, oh, Ocean, you're killing me in the intro, Ocean O'Malley of the Timeless Watch channel, because like I was saying, he had plugged me 3 separate times on his show. Every time he's plugged me, I get about 20 new watch strap orders. And I'm used to about, 5 a week coming in. So when I get 20 in a day, I mean, so a couple weeks ago, you heard me say it was at 40. I had actually gotten it down to 28, and then I got more coming in. So I had actually made 14 at one point, and because I had a couple others that had come in. I was at 42, got down to 28. I made 14 a couple of weeks ago. That was a world record. I actually made 4 straps on one Friday from 7 in the morning until 1 in the morning. I made 4 straps. That's a world record for me. Because typically it's about 8 hours, 7-8 hours to make a strap for a customer. Because you have glue drying time and all that kind of stuff, the stitching, with everything involved. And this is, you can see, this is more decorative than anything, but also to give this flap some added padding. Otherwise, it would have been just 2 too flappy. You know, it would have been too supple for the closing of this. So I wanted to offer the watch a little bit more added protection. And so just also some decorative. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I fell in love so much with this whole story about Elgin. I just bought an Elgin watch, so check this out. This is the watch that I just bought. It's an Art Deco watch from right around 1930-ish, about the time frame of the video that Ben put out. You know, Art Deco came into vogue out of Paris back in 1920s, and it raged through the 30s and influenced a lot of architecture and fashion and, you know, accessories and even furnishings and all kinds of stuff. And just about every watch manufacturer out at the time, they also got into the Art Deco craze. And I'm just a huge fan of Art Deco. I dig it. I've been down in, you know, I'm living in Florida, and some of the buildings down in Miami are just really cool Art Deco designs. I really dig it. So that's why I bought this watch. It was just shipped today. So I'm looking forward to getting it. It's supposed to be here in a few more days, and hopefully it's still ticking. I'll be taking it apart, checking it out inside, and if it needs some work, I'm going to send it to this Mr. Terry Nelson that I highlighted where Jim sent his watch to. So here it is, final product. This is the outside front of the wallet, and here it is inside. That's how it goes in. It actually goes in upside down like this, but isn't that cool how that turned out with using the Horween logo? You know, yeah, I used a lot of product on this. I really did. But that's when you open it up. You open it up like this. You kind of open it up upside down. You can see his great uncle's initials engraved right there. That's the opening flap. And there's the watch. It's really cool, you guys. Really gorgeous. I can't tell you. Great story. Really do your own due diligence on some of these manufacturers like Elgin and Waltham and Hamilton. I'm going to be doing some research on these other American manufacturers as well. I just got so enamored with this story because my great-grandfather was from Chicago, and my grandfather, my mother's grandpa and dad, and my great-grandfather, he wore a Lord Elgin, just like kind of the one I have. It's a little bit different. But here's the movement inside. Is that cool or what? Man, I just dig it. I really do. And again, do not ask me to make you one of these. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining me today. God bless you all. I really enjoyed this a lot. And until next time, keep on ticking.